Welcome back. Once again, I'm Stephen Blake of Stephen's Balloons. Today we're going to start focusing on some slightly more advanced balloon sculpture. So we're going to do the flower and the helicopter. I'm anticipating we'll all get to the flower in class, though many of you may not quite get to the helicopter yet. However, from the skills you'll learn from these first three balloon animals, you should be able to apply your knowledge to complete the helicopter. So, I'm going to start with the flower. I have here a pink 260 balloon. Once again, remember that means when it's fully inflated, it's 2 inches wide and 60 inches long. So I'm going to blow that up. And on this one I'm going to leave about, we'll say about 3 inches of uninflated balloon at the end. Tie that off. And now once again I'm going to grab both ends, stretch out the balloon to relieve the tension inside, reduce the likelihood of it popping. And I'm going to start by folding the balloon. I want about 2 inches down to be the midpoint of that fold. Then I'm going to make a twist in the balloon. And I'm going to twist the knot around this twisted area. I'm just going to fold it over, wrap this knot around this twisted segment several times to lock it in place. And now, just to make my knot a little bit sturdier, I'm going to push the knot, this stretched out piece, between the folded layers of the balloon. So now that's locked in place. That's going to be the first petal of our flower. We're now just going to repeat that same twist as many times as we can before we run out of balloon. Shoot for 5 if you can. For beginners you may end up more with 4, but obviously at least 3 is critical for this to be a quality flower. So I'm just going to do it again. Fold the balloon about 2-3 inches. Twist at the other end. And then I'm just going to twist this twisted area into this twisted area. Twist that around a few times so it feels like it's comfortably in place. Now we've got 2 petals. Same thing, once again, fold the balloon, twist, and I'm going to twist this twisted area into our intersection point here. Lock that in place. So now I've got 3 petals. And a 4th time, I'm going to fold it, twist here. I'm going to twist this area into our midpoint. Alright, now a 5th time, I'm going to fold it, make my twist right here, and twist it into our middle intersection point. Now, as you can see, I've got kind of a clustered mess here. It doesn't really look like a flower so much. So I'm going to arrange the petals, each side by side. Try to put the larger petals towards the top if they didn't all end up quite the same size. As you can see, I've made these 2 a little bit smaller than these 3. Maybe this one's the longest one, so I'll put that on top in the middle. So that's sort of our general flower shape. And as you can see, I've run out of uninflated area on this part of my balloon. So if I tried to make another twist, my balloon would be at a pretty high risk of popping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this part off and wrap around the loose end, tie that in place. And obviously you guys will use scissors for that when you're first starting out, though I will teach you the technique for cutting that part of the balloon off in class. So there's our flower. Now we're going to make the stem for our flower, just to add a little bit more flair to an otherwise fairly bland design. So here I've got a green 260. I've blown it up, leaving about 1 inch of uninflated balloon at the end. Tie that off, stretch it out, and this is essentially a sword with slightly different proportions. Rather than making a short handle about this long and then 2 sort of prongs coming out of it, I'm just going to go about halfway down the flower and make those 2 prongs will be the leaves on the stem. And so I'm going to start just by making a short bubble up here at the top, about 1.5 inches long. And I'm going to twist this twisted part into that intersection point of our flower. Wrap that around a few times, make sure it's locked in place nicely. Now I'm going to go down again, we'll say about 1/3 of the way down your balloon. Make a twist there. Make a loop, whatever size you think would be an appropriate leaf for what your flower is looking like. Mine, I'd say, is about 4 inches down. I fold it and make my twist right here, just like we did for the flower petal. Twist that part into this part. There's our first leaf. And then make a second leaf. You can choose to make it the same size, a different size, whatever you think is the nicest look for your flower. I'm going to make mine about the same size. So again, fold it about 4 inches down, make my twist this twisted area into our intersection point here. So now I've got this shape. I'm just going to arrange it a little bit like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the knot on this green balloon here. I'm going to fold it down like a very small flower petal or leaf and twist this back into this middle part where we've connected the green balloon to the pink balloon. So I'm just going to fold that over, wrap the knot around a few times, and from here you can decide whether you like the flower better on top, or I personally prefer to just stick the flower out in front. And there you go. That's our flower. So now we're going to move on to the helicopter. I have here a teal 260 balloon. I'm going to blow that up, leaving about 3 inches of uninflated balloon at the end. Tie that off. Stretch it out. Now I'm going to make a 1-inch bubble at the front of the balloon, and I'm going to twist this knotted area into this twisted area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold the balloon over, hold it by the knot as close to this twisted area of the balloon as I can. I'm going to stretch the balloon up, extending the knotted part, and twist around several times until it feels comfortably locked in place. And then the knot, the wide part of the balloon at the back, will cause enough friction with the balloon to prevent this from coming undone. So I'm going to leave it just like that, and now I'm going to go about 5 inches down, make another twist, and then again another small bubble. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fold the balloon like this, and this is essentially going to be another small flower petal. This is called a pinch twist. I'm going to twist this area into this area. I'm going to pull the balloon straight up and just twist around. Alright, so that's the start of our helicopter. I'm now going to loop this around like this, and I'm going to make a twist right here. This is going to be the front of the helicopter, so now I'm going to twist this twisted area into this twisted area. So I'm just going to wrap it around like that. So now our helicopter is sort of starting to take shape. We've got the front of it, and this will soon be the tail. So I'm going to make a twist here. I'm going to have about 5 inches of balloon past where I make the twist. Then I'm going to make a small twist about 2 inches long, another one about 2 inches long, and this is going to be just like the legs of the dog that we did before. I'm going to fold it over like this, twist this twisted area into that twisted area, pull it up, stretch around, and lock that in place. So this is sort of the shell of our helicopter. It hasn't really taken much shape yet. So I'm going to move on to the propellers. I have here a black 260 balloon. And I'm blowing it up with just a very little bit at the end, about ½ an inch uninflated. Tie it off. Stretch it out once again. Now all I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie the two ends together. So this knotted end to the uninflated part of the balloon. I'm going to make a big O. So any knot that you choose to do that you think won't come undone, it's up to you. I do a square knot, and that's going to hold in place pretty well. So if you wanted to, you could make a series of these and have giant propellers. But personally, I think it looks a little bit nicer with slightly smaller propellers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this balloon just like this, find the midpoint at the top, and I'm just going to twist it around at that midpoint. So now I've got this shape here. And now I'm going to squeeze it together, and I'm going to twist this twisted area into this twisted area to form a figure 8 like this. So now these are going to be the two propellers for my helicopter. I'm going to take one of the knots from where I tied the two ends of the balloon together. I'm going to stretch it out, and I'm going to just wrap it around this pinch twist at the top of our helicopter several times. I'm going to wrap it around that bubble. I'm going to wrap it between the two propellers at their midpoint. Just wrap it all over all the different balloons that are coming together at this intersection point to lock the propellers in symmetrically. So then I'm just going to arrange it by putting the small bubble on top, the two propellers down to the side, rotate our front back like that, fix up the tail of my helicopter. And so there's the frame. Now we're going to make the front window. I have here a 5-inch clear round balloon. So this is sort of more the shape of a balloon that people picture when they think of a balloon. As you can see, just a round see-through balloon. I'm going to tie this one off. No need to stretch it out. We're not going to be twisting this balloon at all. I'm just going to take this balloon, I'm going to wrap this knotted end, just like we did with the propeller, around this pinch twist at the top of our helicopter. So wrap that around several times, wrap it around in multiple directions, wrap it around the propellers, the front of the helicopter, the tail, you get the idea. Just everywhere you can, hold that in place. And so now I've got this sort of strange hood ornament on my helicopter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fit it through the front of the helicopter, try to center it as best I can. Now I'm going to rearrange the tail and the propellers. And if you like, kind of like I like with the dog, I like to split up this tail. Once again, twist it in the middle, stretch out the uninflated part of the balloon, and squeeze the bubble down to the other end. I think that just gives it a little bit more flair at the end of our helicopter. But there you go. We've got now a flower and a helicopter, two pretty sophisticated balloon sculptures that you've learned. So I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you.